ready to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship in business. We talk all about small business here. You're on with Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Welcome back. Today, we're going to explore the power of hospitality and leadership with our guest, Taylor Scott. Taylor is the author of the popular book, Lead with Hospitality, and the forthcoming Give Hospitality, which will be released on July 8th, 2025. His insights are drawn from his impressive 20-year leadership career in the hospitality and entertainment industries, including roles at Wynn Resorts, the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Disney Parks and Resorts, and it goes on and on. Taylor also holds a master's management in hospitality from Cornell University. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Taylor, your career has been deeply rooted in the hospitality and entertainment industries. How did your experience in these sectors shape your philosophy on leadership?
Yeah, it certainly has. I don't know what it was about it, but I just was drawn to it at a very young age. Grew up going to Walt Disney World on vacation with my family, and then that's where I started working in the hospitality industry. So for me, it's just about the experiences and the feelings that you get when you're on vacation and later in life. I wanted to learn more and sort of got curious about why is it we love our favorite leaders for the same reasons we love our favorite hospitality and hotels and resorts and favorite vacation destinations. And I found it's just because of how they make us feel. So that's what I dove into, and that's where I landed with leading with hospitality is just making people feel welcome, comfortable, and important, which then opens them up to being able to do a lot of great things with and for you as a team member.
Amazing. And your first book was Lead with Hospitality, and now you have Give Hospitality coming out. What's the progression of these ideas? What does giving hospitality mean in a leadership context?
Yeah, the idea of just living, working, and really loving from a place of generosity. I just had this realization just since our prior book, Lead with Hospitality, came out, and we developed all this leadership development content that goes with it, spending time with our clients out in the marketplace. And I just kept seeing it and feeling it, that it really did also just come down to generous hospitality and a spirit of generosity. So I chose to do a fable this time, a little bit of a story to bring these ideas to life.
Oh, I'm excited to hear more about this. You've mentioned, Taylor, in past conversations that today's workforce, particularly millennials and Gen Z, are looking for inspiring environments and fulfilling work. How can leaders in any industry create that kind of environment?
Yeah, what I've been seeing, and I know you guys have probably been seeing the same, is the largest section of any given workforce are going to be millennials and Gen Zs. It's just kind of how it is right now in the marketplace, and given their age, they're going to be around a while. And there's two things that the research tells us, and really that they have told many of us anecdotally, two things they're looking for in an employer, two things they're looking for in a leader. And they really want connection and purpose. They want their work to mean something. They want to know that they matter, their work matters, and that they're part of something bigger than themselves. And so I think leaders who lead with hospitality, and then brands that do a great job of bringing that to life within their cultures, they do a few things with this sense of purpose. One, they help everybody understand what their personal purpose is. And then what I always thought Disney did a really good job of when I was coming up through the ranks, and then I have many friends that are still there, what they do well is they make sure everybody's role in the show, as they call it, is connected to the overarching purpose of the organization. So I remember back in the day when I was like, my first job there, I was like flipping burgers at a quick service food and beverage location at one of the resorts. And I didn't go to work every day to flip burgers. I literally went to work genuinely believing that I was going to work to make magic for people. And so that's how we got to do that across all different industries, no matter what your industry is, no matter what level of the organization you're in. Can you make sure that your team's work matters and make sure they feel seen, heard, valued, and respected in their role?
And You have suggested that the most effective leaders connect emotionally with their teams before managing them. Can you explain why this heart-first approach is so crucial and how it trickles down to customer experience?
Absolutely. If you think about it, think about our own lives, professionally and personally. Um, we make decisions based upon emotion, not the logic. Whereas conventional wisdom, we think, oh, let me just show them a bunch of statistics. Let me show them the charts and graphs. That'll get them. That'll inspire them. That'll motivate them because they'll see it plain as day in black and white on the charts. But in reality, and I learned this working, leading a sales team at Disney Vacation Club based at the Disneyland Resort, and we leaned into this concept there. Obviously, being within the Disney brand is really heavily relying on that emotional connection. So for leaders, if we can connect with people on an emotional, human level, what we find is they are quicker to open up and they're quicker to see us as a fellow human being, not so much as a boss anymore. And it's the emotion that they'll have within them that'll ultimately drive them to do more, want to become more, and ultimately deliver their best work.
Absolutely. Again, I'm chatting with the one and only Taylor Scott, who has quite the impressive background, as we talked about in the intro, the author of the popular book, Leading with Hospitality, and the forthcoming Giving with Hospitality, which is coming out July 8th, 2025. He has been with all of the major players in the hospitality and entertainment industries, including, as we've just been chatting about, Disney Parks and Resort, Gaylord Hotels and Resorts, Cosmopolitan, Wynn Resorts, and the list goes on and on. So Give Hospitality outlines 5 core principles: compassion, encouragement, kindness, hospitality, and leadership. How can leaders bring these values to life within their organizations to foster a culture of engagement and authenticity?
Yeah, what I did is I chose to have a G word, an I word, a V word, and an E word that I believe will help any of us bring these 5 principles, these 5 core values to life. So for giving compassion, think about the golden rule. When we approach life, when we approach work with the golden rule, treating other people how we would want to be treated, we're automatically inclusive. That's the I word there. And we can validate other people, validate their strengths, validate their contributions, and it just raises the levels of engagement among any team or group of people. For giving encouragement, this idea of giving our gifts. We have God-given gifts that we have. Well, we should just give those to people. And when we do that, it makes a positive impact, not just a good impression, but it makes an impact that can last for quite a long time. And then in terms of engagement, being vocal, there's your V word. If you have an idea, share it, be vocal. And then we've all lived a great life. We've done a bunch of things. So we've learned some lessons along the way. The E word is educate. Giving kindness, genuineness, being genuine influences any given environment with our vulnerability. And then that environment begins to just become a whole lot more positive and inclusive. Giving hospitality, G word, generosity, I word, inspiration, V word, volunteering our time, talent, and our heart, and then elevating experiences. There's your E word. And then finally with leadership, gratefulness. Being grateful. When we're grateful, it's kind of hard to be negative. Can't do both at the same time. Gratefulness sparks intentionality, which allows us to create a vision that what could be, what will be, and it comes down to empathy, which I believe the E word there for leadership, empathy, is the most profound and unfortunately most commonly and most frequently missed leadership skill of all.
Taylor, we're coming to the conclusion of our time together. Ultimately, you believe that the purpose of leadership is to connect with and inspire hearts and minds. How does this philosophy not only benefit the workplace, but also extend into employees' homes and communities?
Yeah, we love our favorite leaders. If you think about your favorite leaders, it's less about their leadershipness and it's more about their humanness. And so we're all human. That's one thing we all have in common. So I just believe if we have more leaders in the workplace, more leaders in corporate America that are leading with this type of an approach, the humanness element, being human, emotionally connecting to people, and then serving people selflessly, what you'll have is just have people that are feeling better about life while they're at work, and then they'll feel better when they're not at work, knowing that they're supported like that when they do go back to work. And you see the cycle that can really take place after that.
Absolutely. Taylor, I want to give the last word over to you to make sure our listeners can find the books, plural, and get in touch with you. You are the subject matter expert on this topic, and really, really grateful for the conversation. How can we get in touch?
Leadwithhospitality.com is our website. You can also email me at taylor@leadwithhospitality.com. And I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram 1502 as well. Instagram tscott1502. Sorry, tscott1502 on Instagram. I'd love to connect.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to squeeze in a quick break. You are listening to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You get on my website, syklein.com. That's also how you get in touch with me. But be sure to also check out the podcasts of this program so you don't miss a single episode. Even when you're traveling, just search on your favorite podcast app and search for Get Down to Business. Subscribe, rate, review, and share so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.